get that, and we know that certainly as we move forward, I think we all want to make sure that that we understand that both in terms of future transportation needs and future dollars, that we really need to make sure that we're not overlooking the municipalities as we move forward. And this region, of course, it is our towns here on the Eastern Shore that are so vital to the growth and the economic development here on the shore. And land use and planning and transportation, of course, go hand in hand. I think, again, we've learned that the hard way. And clearly in transportation, whether it's on some of the state agendas that you're probably familiar with, or on the national agendas, we're facing transportation reauthorization. Our national legislation expired a couple of years ago. It's been challenging, and we don't have a new authorization yet, but it's very clear that when we do, transportation isn't going to look like it has in the past. We're going to have to be, and we should be, quite frankly, much more concerned about the impacts that transportation improvements have upon communities, and doing things differently, and looking at transportation and mobility of goods and people as it relates to a community, not as it relates, I think, from a long distances. Well, it's about getting from here to there. It's about making sure that communities work and that communities have good, useful transportation. So we have challenges, but I think that we definitely are going to see things differently in the future. Just some statistics, of course. The Chesapeake Bay Bridge was built in 1952, and I know that I started coming here with and moved here in the 70s, and people that I can't even remember chicken neckers and the terms. But you know, once you're here, you want to be here. I mean, it's just such a tremendous place, and so I've watched the development at the shore that frankly has come following the Bay Bridge, and then with the development in 50 and the enhancements of 50. And while it made it much easier for people to get from one end or from the Western Shore to Ocean City, it's also made the character look very different of the shore. And there have been benefits to that, and I'm sure there's also been shortcomings to that. And so I think that it's a very visible place to really see both of the benefits of transportation the way we did in the past, but also see maybe clearly in some ways how we could do things better for the future. Over the next 20 years, the Eastern Shore's population is projected to increase by 37%. And certainly I think we would all agree that it would be best if much of that growth did in fact incur in the towns from both a land use perspective as well as a transportation and accessibility perspective. Both because I think it's just easier for people to move around and get the services that they provide, that they need if they're in a town. And obviously, resources are much shorter than they used to be, and we're not going to have, frankly, the kinds of dollars that we had in the past to do some of the kinds of big, sort of typical highways expansion that we have in the past. But what we hear in really all of the counties when we do our tours in the fall, and we go out and visit with the counties and municipalities, is that people understand and they want to make their communities work. They want to have transit, and you know, transit is our bus services or van services to provide access to jobs for the low income, as well as to make sure that people can get to their hospitals and their doctor's appointments if they don't have other ways to do it. And that's become increasingly more important to people. Sidewalks, programs like Safe Routes to Schools program, because people want, be able to have their children, use the neighborhoods, walk to school. People, I think, are more concerned about both being able to live and work in their communities. And so I think we have to think and should think, for a lot of reasons, about those kinds of things as we do transportation planning in the future.